background do that. Boom. There we are. All right, we're up and live. We should, what? Yeah, we should be live. All right, Aaron, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good deal. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Filling the Void. What we are is this is our third season. We've had a couple of years, and then we took I don't know, probably like 6 months hiatus from doing any live streams for Filling the Void. We've got a lot to talk about, and we're changing the format. As you can see, we've got a different layout on the screen. We have a different format of what we're going to talk about. In the past, we had talked about topics, like we would pull out a topic like role-playing or griefing or specific ships or something like that. But now, going forward, at least in this season, the third season at least, we're going to be talking about the news as it develops. We're going to talk about the previous 2 weeks. So this show is going to be every 2 weeks on Monday. And so if there's tons of news, we're going to talk about it. If not, we're going to make up some news of our own. I don't know. we'll figure it out. Okay, so on my right over here is Nightwing, and Nightwing in Star Citizen. He is he is the Lieutenant JG, or you're one of two Lieutenant JGs, right?
No, I'm the only one.
You're the only Lieutenant JG in the squadron. And yeah, we've got a list of some things that have been put out in the last couple of 10 for the Chairmans and around the verses and things like that. And my name is Mr. Everything. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start off this by saying, what did we do for the last, I don't know, possibly 6 months, getting ready for Star Citizen? Go ahead,
Well,
Aaron. I'm gonna let you go first.
been working, of course. Got to pay the bills so you can enjoy these games and keep supporting them.
That's
But
right.
other than that, been doing my first-person shooters,
Nice.
Interstellar Marines, and Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon. Just keeping sharp on that. Plus the first-person shooter that's active now in the alpha on Star Citizen. Also flying around, getting used to the controls of the ship, and moving around within the stores and whatnot. I wish the bartender would talk to me, but he still won't talk to me. Um,
That's coming.
yeah, I know it's coming,
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
but
that. Yeah.
but just keeping up with the updates that are coming out and staying on top of all the new stuff. That we're gonna be talking about tonight,
Mm-hmm.
and being ready for when the game launches.
Exactly right. Okay, well, let me tell you what I've been doing. Nothing.
Nothing.
No, I've been playing Star Citizen like every night at midnight. I'd be jumping on, not exactly at midnight. Sometimes 12:30, sometimes 1 o'clock. But this is Central Time, and like if I'm watching in the middle of a TV show, of course I'm gonna finish watching my TV show before I run in here and start streaming. But I try to hit right around midnight. So if you're interested in watching a live stream around midnight, come join me. Um, I, as I was telling you earlier, I'm not streaming for myself. I'm not streaming for my personal enjoyment, even though it is extremely fun and I'm learning new things and I'm trying out new strategies, new tactics, new loadouts, and all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm trying to get into trouble in all kinds of different ways. It's not really. It is fun, but that's not why I'm on. I have to realize, I have to understand that there's a lot of people out there in the world that don't know what Star Citizen is. And I'm using my stream as a forum to kind of help educate the populace. If anybody has any questions, they can jump on my stream. They can ask me, like, "Hey, Mr. Everything, how do you open the door?" Whatever. And then I would talk to them, and I would explain it. And we talk about like what they want out of Star Citizen, what I want, and basically it just helps the community learn, and also it gets me, some Twitch time. Some I get I lately I've been doing a little bit of been doing the first person stuff,
Right.
uh, I know it's broken, and I know that the armor has no value, and I know the like the sights on the weapons are missing and stuff. I know, but that's because it's alpha, you
Right.
know, and
Exactly.
it'll change. You know, I'll get a scope eventually, and I'll get armor value eventually. So I'm not really too worried about all that. Also, I've been just this weekend. Remember, Steam has got their Steam sale, and I picked up a couple of games. I picked up Game of Thrones. It's like super cheap, and then I picked up an older game, Space Hulk Ascension, and which I haven't played yet. That should be exciting. And then I picked up Rainbow Six Vegas 2 because I played Rainbow Six Vegas a long time ago. I still have the disc over there, but yeah, Rainbow Six Vegas 2 should be exciting. So
Yeah.
that'll help out with the first person shooting and team management and stuff like that. So I don't know,
Right.
but okay, so let's start talking about what's coming out in the last few weeks, right? And they've talked about it. And we have to kind of read between the lines also because recently they've been okay. This
Tight-lipped.
tight-lipped. I didn't want to say it, but there is there's there's changes going on, and hopefully they're gonna become a little bit more. I don't know, a little bit more free with their information. One of the reasons why I backed, right, and you probably did the same, is because we wanted to experience and help a game in the middle of development, and also so that it would be developed the way we wanted it to be developed, right?
Right.
Um,
I did the Wing Commander series and loved it.
yeah, me too.
So,
Me too.
so when I heard that Chris was doing this, I was like, oh yeah, because I knew whatever he came out with was going to be top notch.
Exactly, exactly. But I'm gonna turn around and say something negative.
Okay.
-1. That was negative. No, no, seriously. I'm jumping to point 11. I told you I might do this, but I have to say this first because it's like
Right.
it's on my topic. There was recently a post on a popular forum area where a gentleman, and I'm going to say a gentleman because he was very polite, very succinct. He said it the way it needed to be said. He wasn't rude or obnoxious or anything like that. He basically just said that he was leaving. Uh, he wasn't. He's not leaving Star Citizen. He still wants to play Star Citizen. He still loves Star Citizen. He's just not going to be a subscriber anymore. And he's been paying money for like $10 a month ever since the very start. And recently, in the last year or so, CIG has started to become more and more tight-lipped, like you were saying, and less information was going out to the subscribers or just general population. Less information was going out. Let me rephrase that. Information was coming out. It just wasn't the kind of information that this guy wanted, right?
Right.
And he wanted insight to the way games were being developed and uh, not just news. That's not what he wanted. He didn't want like, hey, we've got a new ship, here it's coming out. No. He wanted to see, hey, we got this new ship and this is a guy and he's just now starting on working on it and this is what we're thinking. What do you guys think? That's what he wants, right? He wanted feedback. He wanted to be able to provide them um, a response. And we haven't been getting that for the last year or so. All we've been doing is getting force fed what they are making.
Right.
And so he's I'll try not to spend a lot of time on this and you can, comment after that. But he said all the right things. Like this is what's happening and I don't approve of it. You got it's great. I'm gonna love Star Citizen when it comes out. But since I'm not really a valued member of the community, I'm just gonna stop subscribing. Right?
Yep.
Okay. And so there he got a lot of he got a lot of likes, okay, upvotes, likes, whatever you want to call it, on that forum thread, uh, on a third-party forum, not on the CIG forums. And uh, when he did that, when he got all those likes and upvotes, and this is me just speculating, okay, but I think CIG got a little worried because there was a lot of people saying, yeah, you're right, I'm going to go ahead and stop being a subscriber also. And that's what you've seen in the last couple of weeks. You've seen CIG, taking a step back, saying, "Oh my gosh, what are we doing wrong? Like what's going on? We need to change. We need to change what we're doing," and that's why they're saying they're going to have all these breakout videos. They're not going to put it all in one format. The way they present the information is going to be different, and I think they are trying to make it right. But I don't know if they're going in the right direction. Some people say they need to ask. This is what some people say. They need to ask the non-subscribers so that they know what they need to do to get them to subscribe. And then the other side of the house is saying they need to ask the subscribers what they want so they can keep them. And I think they should do both. I don't think they should just do one or the other. I think they should ask the subscribers what they want so they get what they want, and then they ask the non-subscribers what do they want and provide that too. What do you
Yeah.
think? What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I understand where this guy's coming from because I too have been since, not day one, but shortly thereafter, been a subscriber. And like I did a post when they came out with the new polo shirt. I did a post on there saying, I still haven't gotten the stuff from when I subscribed was included in my package. I never got my mouse pad. I never got my constellation shaped USB flash drive.
That's right.
I mean, the only thing I got was
I don't
my
have a star
patches.
map. I don't have my star map, right?
Well,
Well, I
and
got
I
a
know
digital
that,
one now, but
yeah, and I know that the map, or
yeah,
not the map, the manual. I realized the manual is not going to come out until the game is launched
right, because
because
it's going to change.
th- yeah, because it's going to change, and I understand that, so I'm not worried about that right now. It's just like I
One,
put in my post. I said I spent my $28. I hope I get my polo shirt, but I never got anything else that was promised to me when I became a subscriber. And actually, it wasn't the subscriber; it was the backer.
yeah, just becoming a bagger. Yeah.
Right. And then, I've been a subscriber, Imperator level this whole time since then, and
Well, when they came out with the dog tags and the T-shirts and the mouse pads, the big ones, right,
mhm,
and the all that stuff. When they came out with all that
right.
stuff, I don't have a problem with them making merchandise. I thought about this the other night. I was like, why do they have merchandise? Isn't that a waste of their time and effort? But then I thought about it. I was like, no, because it if I'm wearing a Arena Commander shirt down at the mall, that's advertising.
Right.
So I understand it's good to have that, and it keeps the fans engaged. Like, wow, I've got an Arena Commander shirt. But like you were saying, there are things in the packages that should have been made first. But the problem with that is, and I'm gonna be the devil's advocate. I'm gonna be their representative. They can't make the map until they know where all the planets are. They
Correct.
can't, they can't make the Jane's fighting ships until they have all the fighting ships and the stats for
Correct.
the fighting ships. So there are things in my package that I want, I want yesterday, but I'm not going to get it, and I understand, and you do too.
Yeah.
I understand that I'm not going to get it, but the USB Constellation USB shape thing, um, that could have been that could be sent out with every package. Like once a month, they could bundle up whoever got Constellation, send them out, right?
Right.
Okay, now let me back up. Let me say this. When you in the past, this has changed with cross chassis upgrades, which happened, I don't know, less than a year ago. But in the past, you could melt your ship 100%, and then you would get credit, and then you would turn around and buy another ship. And there were people that had constellations, let's say,
Right.
that had the all the gadget stuff. And they, if they were to melt their ship down and buy a Hornet, they would have already have received all their material rewards, right? And so that would have been, they would either had to have deducted the value of the material rewards or not give any material rewards for the Hornet. And that's what they've gone to is
But here's
the,
the problem with that theory.
okay,
The problem with that theory is the stuff that I was promised
yeah,
was when I became a backer. My initial backing crowdfunding,
right?
that's where that came from. Okay.
Yeah.
Once they went into the subscriberships and you got your package, or you were able to get the standalone ships
Mm-hmm.
and the little things to put into your hangars and whatnot, and you were able to start melting down ships and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
That's those, the only thing you were getting was like the insurance, Squadron 42 access, digital download this, digital download that. Okay. But they weren't putting anything physical in there. You were getting the models of the aircraft that you could put in your hangar in the display cases, but you
No,
weren't getting anything physical
no,
unless you ordered it from the store.
no, they changed. That's what the change went to.
Right.
It
That's what
went
I'm saying. But
when
when
I
I ordered
originally
the
backed.
mouse pad
Okay,
and my package for becoming a backer,
okay,
I never got that stuff. I ordered the patch set separately later on out of the store.
right.
That was
You
never
should
part of
have
my
received
package.
a, but okay, you're confusing me now a little bit because everything that I got added to my account came out of a bat buying a ship.
Well, everything I've gotten in my hangar that I got with my ships, I got. But that was all digital stuff.
Right, right.
When I bought my initial package, when I became a backer,
Which was a ship.
right, and that was my Connie,
Okay,
all right, and excuse me,
but if you sold that
but I
ship,
got,
if
and I understand that, but those of us who didn't, why should we be punished for it? I mean, I paid,
that's why
you
they
know,
changed. No, I think that's why they changed to the new cross chassis upgrade thing, because now you can swap out your ship alone for a new ship, but
right,
you keep all your material benefits.
right,
So for those of you that are traveler players, you heard that right? Material benefits. No, no, you have material benefits that are part of your initial package, and then when you switch out ships, the only thing that changes is the ships. So any digital items you have or any material items you have should not change,
right,
and that is smart in my opinion. That way, and
right,
then because of that, like you said, they should be fulfilling those. They should be because they're not going to change and they're not going to be deleted when you switch ships. Now they should at least provide you with those mouse pads or USBs or maps. Uh, and that's well, one of them is like I think I get like an album of music, and I think I
yeah,
get, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff I get because I backed early. So,
right,
how early did you back again? I don't remember.
14
Really?
August, I think it was. I'd have to go to the website
No, no,
and
no, no. I
double
mean, like,
check it.
how many million was it at?
Oh, I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
Okay, okay.
My number,
Oh, I don't even
my
know that. But yeah,
registry number is like 35,000 or
yes.
352,000 is my where
Okay.
my ID number is, not the whole thing, but it's in that
Sure, sure.
category.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, so I don't know. There.
But
Okay.
I understand where he's coming from. I'm not agreeing with what he said as far as not becoming a subscriber. If we want this game to go through, we need all the subscribers we can get to come on, become a subscriber, help support the game,
Right.
and so they
And
can get it done.
right, and that's the point I was getting ready to. And you just made it for me. The point I was getting ready to make was the fact that he's subscribing should not be. Let me back it up. The fact that he's not getting what he's wanting from being a subscriber shouldn't stop him from being a subscriber
Correct.
because that is selfish. That's he. Now I understand making that post and saying this isn't what I'm getting, and I think he's using uh, his the cancellation of his subscription as like a tool, or something to
He's
like,
doing crowdfunding in reverse.
well,
He's trying he's trying to get people to stop funding.
I don't think he's trying to get them to stop funding. I think he's trying to
Then
scare
why not just,
CIG.
if
No,
he wasn't trying to get people to support him and stop subscribing, then why make the post? Just stop subscribing instead of making it known to the world. Hey, they're not doing
that's true.
what I asked them to do, so I'm going to stop subscribing.
Right, but I think what he's I'm trying to get into his head, but I think what he's trying to do is scare CIG and let them know that it's a problem.
But there's
And
other ways of doing that without
but
threatening them
I don't
with
think
with
I
thousands of people to stop subscribing.
I think he's tried it in other ways, and this is the only way he resorted to this as a way to get their attention.
Eh,
But I'm just guessing. I can't read his mind. Okay, let's move on from that. That's
yes.
okay. Okay. Now there was a post they talked about the Drake, right? And
Yeah.
we're using information from both around the verse and the what is it 2.37, and also, well, which is basically episode 99 and episode 100,
Right.
right? And we're also going to be talking about the 10 for the chairman, number 85, and I also pulled some stuff in from Bug Smashers, but uh, the Drake ejection seats. Okay, now I just want to.
I
I
want to
just
correct them on a point
Go ahead.
real quick.
Go ahead.
They talked about how um, that the Drake ships were more like Russian. They don't have all the bells and whistles like the American.
That's right. That's what they said.
And one of the things they said is they don't have ejection seats in the Russian aircraft. Well, sorry, on prior Air Force, yes, they do. There's only
Yeah,
one
they
nation.
have ejection seats. Yeah.
There's only one nation that does not have ejection seats in their aircrafts, and that is the Turkish Air Force. Because the Turks believe that if that aircraft is going to go down and you're the pilot of it, then we don't need you anymore because you're not a good pilot and you're going to go down with your plane.
Well,
but
think about this. The game's supposed to be in World War II. There shouldn't be any ejection seats.
right. But he popped the canopy and jumped out and hit the chute.
That's right. Yeah, you should be able to pop your canopy and climb out.
Exactly.
Right. There should, or and then roll over the side, not hit. Hopefully, you don't hit the tail.
Yeah.
but,
hit the
but
hit the struts. But I mean, ejection seats.
but see, now the issue with the ejection seats is, well, it's not an issue for me because I have an ejection seat. But
Yeah, same
the
here. Saber pilots have ejection seats.
when have you played? And this is only in the Persistent Universe or Arena Commander. When have you played and ejected to prevent yourself from dying?
Never.
Exactly. Exactly. Because
But now
you're
but the thing that
dogfighting, your ship's getting blown up, you keep dogfighting, right?
but now the thing they're talking about, the reason for the ejection seats is because of the death scenario,
That's what I'm
where
talking about.
after your body dies X amount of times,
Right.
now you've got an ancestor.
The permadeath. Yeah.
Right.
Right, right. So
So,
you don't want to die in the real world. Right. I got
right,
you. In the game, right?
right.
But if you're in a fighter, okay, now if you're in a big bomber or something, they should not have ejection seats, right?
No,
Because you're
just
gonna
run to the crew door and jump out.
right, but you're gonna have crew doing like damage control and all that stuff, right? The only time you need an ejection seat is when you're like in a single or a two-seat fighter or something smaller, and it only takes a couple of shots and you blow up. You don't get a warning. Oh, you're about to blow up. You need to eject, or you're on fire and your engine's about to explode. You don't get that. You get
Yeah.
you get. Oh, guess what? You just exploded. So so, so I think that the Drake pilots need to just shut up because I got a Saber with an ejection seat. I don't ever use it. I get blown
Hmm.
up, you know,
Yeah,
or
my ship disappears and I'm floating there in space.
right, yeah, and let's say I'm now if they backing it up a little bit, if in the future they plan to give us warning like your engine's about to explode, and I can pull the ejection and eject, and the Drake pilot can't, well then now I can see where he might have a legitimate complaint, right? Because I was given a warning and I can live. He's given a warning, but he has to run back to the door and open it up.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say it from now. Now, this filling the void. What I want to do is make this show partially about our squadron and how our squadron interacts with the game and how the game interacts with our squadron, because I want to put that um, emphasis on our discussions.
Right.
If he's a Drake pilot, he deserves to die.
Yeah.
If he's a Drake pilot, he's
Now, come
probably
on.
a pirate.
We're UEE, okay?
And
I
if he's a Drake blue pilot, then he shouldn't be in a fight.
Yeah,
And if he's Drake red, well, that's what is that? Like fire, right?
he's
Fire rescue
gonna be
something.
dead.
Yeah, then that's okay. There's no now there's I mean the Cutlass blue and Cutlass red, but there's people out there that are flying Drake. What else is a Drake that doesn't have an ejection? The Herald, right? The Herald doesn't have an
Yeah,
ejection
the
seat,
Herald, but the Herald's not out yet, so
and it's not really a fighter either. And
no,
then
it's not.
and then okay, so the Buccaneer, right?
All right,
The Buccaneer, it probably should have an ejection seat. It probably should. But I think that the feedback behind that company is they're cutting costs. They're making that ship cheap, and one of the ways they can do it is by not putting a rocket assisted seat in the front.
you're in space. Why do you need an ejection seat?
Just blow the canopy
Open
and
the
get sucked out.
yeah, just blow the canopy and the air pressure will suck you out. I mean,
That's
there you
right.
go.
Exactly. Or yeah, just undo your seatbelt and
Oh,
pew,
there you
you're out.
go.
You're out. Exactly. So um, okay, that's enough of that. So
Yeah.
so no ejection seats on Drake ships. Deal with it. Okay, and then upcoming procedural planets and landing zone patch 2.7. So what do you think is going to happen to the uh, right now we call it Port Olisar, but technically it's the Crusader system. It's going when the procedural planets come out. I think they're only going to put like two more planets and the moon, whatever number of moons there are in this system, just to test out the system.
Right.
But that's going to make it not Crusader anymore. It's going to make it Stanton, right? Because we're going to have a
Right.
Stanton system.
Right.
So what do you? Okay, I kind of did the math, right? For me to fly around with my saber, I get to only fly 3 or 4 times to an ICC probe mission before I'm out of fuel. So with quantum fuel, so I
About
can
right.
I can imagine having to fly from Crusader to Area 18, and I've got it mapped out. I think it's on our website somewhere.
It
It,
is.
it's going to take like 3 times to refuel to travel that entire way. And that means there's going to have to be cryastros pretty much everywhere in the system, not just, near Crusader. They're going to have to be like in deep space, like between planets, not with the planets. Or we're going to have like
But here's the thing
external
that they
fuel tanks or
said
something. What's
that's
that?
going to make it worth it.
Okay, what's that?
Especially later on when they come out with the Nix system, which
Yeah.
is supposed to come out before procedural planets, because that's supposed to be in
No,
2.5 according to them.
no,
Yeah,
no, no,
you've
no,
even got
no, no.
it.
No, the Levski's going to be in the Stanton system.
Right, temporarily
Right.
to test them, and then will be moved to Nix 2.5.
No, that's what I put, but that's not That's not what I meant.
anyways,
That's not what I meant.
what they were saying they were going to do is like to get people to do this. And I
Right.
can say I agree with it and I can say I disagree with it. But
Okay.
it's like, all right, well, on Stanton, we're going to put all the slug throwers. And on Levinsky, we're going to put all the energy weapons.
Right.
So that way, if you want energy weapons, you got to travel there. If you want slugs, you got to, you know, forcing people to have to move is going to cause things like piracy. Well, I don't want to travel all the way there, so I'll go to this pirate cove and buy my energy weapon from these guys instead of spending the fuel to go all the way over to the Nix system to Levisky.
Right. This is all just temporary anyway. So it's not the way the game's going to play. They're just doing it to give you an incentive to visit these other
To
landing
travel.
sites to travel
Exactly.
around. But no, what they said was, and this I'm going to back up to this is another different point. But Levski is the Nix landing zone.
Right.
It's Nix. It has an asteroid. It has the main capital or main landing zone. The criminal spot is Levski. They're going to take that landing zone. They're going to cut it out of that moon. Ignore that moon or whatever it was, and they're going to put it on one of the planets in the Stanton system, just temporarily. And
Right.
they're going to do that in 2.5. That's what they said they were going to do. And then or possibly 2.5. And then later down the road, when they finally build Nix out, millions of years from now, then they're going to rip Levski back out and put it where it belongs.
Right.
So it's going to give us an opportunity to go there. But before that even happens, we're going to have, but the procedural plan. I don't know why I put 2.5 there because that has nothing to do with it. Because procedural planets, they're talking about that coming out in 2.7.
Right.
And when they do that, that's when the Levski landing zone is going to appear. So it's going to appear in 2.7, not 2.5. I don't know why I typed that on there.
Mm.
Okay, that was a typo. But Grim Hex is coming out in 2.5.
Right. Right. And
And
that's where they're going to split the energy and ballistics.
correct. And that's going to be the asteroid base that's extra large. They said it was larger than Olisar. It's going to have some places that are run down, disconnected, not working. They're going to have other places that are the shops are at, and because they've already talked about how they've got the shops up and running in their internal builds. So let's talk about Grim Hex real quick. And you're talking about the splitting weapons is not going to be fun, and I kind of agree because I like laser rifles, okay, and I don't like the ballistic assault rifle, right? So am I going to have to fly all the way out to Grim Hex, land and get an energy rifle? Of course,
Yep.
that's fine. That's okay. Or what I'll do is I'll go to Area 18, buy my weapons at uh, Cubby Blast, and then I'll go into Port Olisar with my laser rifle, right? So
Okay.
so I don't have to go running over to Levski, right? Or I mean Grim Hex. But I want to go to Grim Hex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll go grief somebody, I'll kill him, then I'll kill myself so that I'll respawn at Grim Hex. Just so I get a chance to walk around and explore it,
Well,
right?
you know why I want to go to Grimex, right?
No.
Because that's where all the criminals are going to be.
Right. Right.
You just said so yourself.
Right. But
And
when
being a
there's
bounty hunter, that's where I'm going to make all my money.
but there's not going to be any law, or there's not going to be any what's the word I'm looking for? None of those comma rays, so they'll be able to kill you and get away with it, right? So what
You got to catch me first.
I want to talk about Grim Hex.
Okay.
Um, something I'm afraid of. I'm afraid that because I know the way people are. I'm afraid they're going to make this patch. It's going to be patched. It's going to be a lawless area of space, and there's going to be all these criminals, which is going to be more than half of the people that log in are going to be criminals. So you're going to look at, well, even if it's just 50%, 50% of them are over there what are they? Half of them, half of those criminals, what do you think they're doing? I think they're just going to be killing everybody. I think they're just going to have their guns out blazing. People will be respawning. They're going to camp their respawn rooms. They're going to kill them. They're going to grief them. I don't think it's going to be Pleasant City. You
Unless
know,
they make it like Port Olisar, where it's a no shoot zone.
right? And that's what I'm afraid it's not going to be, because it needs to be, right? But
Right.
Olisar is a non-shoot zone because of the law, right?
Right.
And Grim Hex is supposed to be lawless, like no. There's supposed to be people, and that's what I'm afraid is going to happen. Is there's going to be players that are just going to be killing other players for fun, and it's not going to be fun to go to Grim Hex because everybody's
Yep.
going to be trying to kill everybody else. So they need to make it a non-shoot zone, right? I didn't think of that. If they did, then that'd be fine. Because then you just spawn in your ship and fly away, and then start shooting people afterwards. But
Right.
I think there's
Or
going to be,
maybe they'll just do like a barrier. Put a limited barrier around it, so once you fly into that barrier,
now
you're no
think
shoot until
think it,
you leave that barrier.
well, thinking of that no-shoot zone, right? They could put a mob boss on there that doesn't want everybody killing everybody else.
Yeah.
Like I've got my security, which is technically his
Yeah.
henchman.
Rito.
Right. It's his henchman, and if you want to land on my base, you've got to put your guns away, kind of thing, right? And if that's what's going to happen, then that'd be cool. That would be exciting. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid it's not going to be like that. I'm
And
afraid
it put a good twist in it.
it'll be a good twist. I'm afraid that if they don't put any kind of throttle or some kind of control on that, it's going to be out of hand. It's going to get out of hand like minute one. People are just
Yeah,
killing people.
like the Jabba the Hutt type character that
Right.
if it's not sanctioned by him and approved by him, then it better not occur. Otherwise, you answer to him.
Exactly.
And he takes all your money or whatever kills you, or you got to get in this arena and fight some kind of creatures or something like that. Yeah.
You're getting a little out of it. It's
Hey.
not there yet.
Yeah, but you never know. You got to remember the writers are listening, hopefully, to this, and maybe we're throwing some ideas at them.
That's right. Okay, so that's the procedural planets we didn't really talk about, but there's going to be some landing zones, some procedural planets.
Right.
If that comes out, I'm going to spend a lot of my time exploring planets. I'm going to be landing on planets.
Yeah, you and me both.
Yeah, I'm going to be checking out the rivers and the hills, and I'll just be like hiking, or whatever. So that,
just
and hopefully,
yeah,
hopefully I can take my buggy on my Starfarer, and I land on a planet, take the buggy out, and go driving around.
Which is something that Chris talked about.
Yeah.
In 10 for the chairman was the security. They're going to be working up ship security systems so that when you do something like that on this planet, somebody just doesn't come landing in and, oh, look, ship, and jump in and fly away with it like they do now.
Yeah. So apparently we'll be warned when
Yeah.
somebody touches our ship.
Your Moby glass is going to give you an alert.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah. So, or you have to bring friends and have one of them post up with a sniper rifle in the trees. So when somebody lands, you just cap them. Okay, let's talk about the Dragonfly since we're talking about exploring planets.
Yeah,
I got a Dragonfly.
Did you?
Yes, I got a Dragonfly. I got the black one. I got the black one because I thought the yellow one was too limited. It was like I don't want to buy a color just because you tell me it's limited.
Right.
I got black.
Well, they were saying cool. In ATV that it's selling like hotcakes.
Yeah. That's not to me. I bought
just because of the color.
Right. So a couple of reasons why I got the black one. Because in space, if I ever was to use it as a crazy dogfighting craft, I would rather it to be black. And on the planet, if I needed to park it in the bushes somewhere, I want it to be black.
Yep.
But I got it, and it can carry a single passenger on the back or whatever, and we can go exploring planets. And it doesn't fly; it hovers above the ground. It doesn't fly through the air. It will fly in space because there's no gravity.
Right.
But limited shields, limited guns. limited cargo.
It's not something you want to take into a space battle.
Right. It's well, I bet you if you had like 100 friends and they're all on bikes, that would be really cool. But
Oh, I can see it now. Hell's Angels and Star
that's
Citizen.
that's right. That would be cool, and that'd be like a swarm of dragonflies.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Now they did mention that they can't wait to see the caterpillar
right, right.
with a full load of dragonflies all launch at once.
Yeah, that would be cool.
So that'll be a good video to see.
Yeah, the caterpillar, old news, but I kind of like the concept behind the caterpillar. It's not something I'm going to get for myself, but
No,
I like the detachable bridge and the long segmented, like a train. I mean, you're
it's a good,
almost
it's a
yeah,
compartmental aircraft or spacecraft.
yeah. It's
It's as long as you want to put compartments on it, basically.
yeah. Well, I think they said it's going to be a set length now,
Is it okay?
and you can swap out individual compartments, so
Okay.
you can make it what you want, but you can't make it as long as you want. Right.
Bummer.
Yeah, I know, right? I think
Two
that's what it
mile
should.
long caterpillar.
I know, right? All right, now let's talk. Let's talk about the female
AI.
model.
You want to do the AI?
Did I skip the AI? Let's
Yeah.
let's talk about the female model real quick. Uh, just because it'll be quick.
Okay.
I noticed that even though it's modeled after a real woman, my understanding is it is right.
Right.
It's still and it's got curves where they belong, and she's shaped just fine. It's
Yes.
we have to understand that going forward, like in the future, you will.
Sorry, laughing at a viewer's comment there.
Right, that's my point. That's what I'm getting at. The player is going to be able to modify her. Today, no. When she first comes out, no. Can we modify the male model?
No.
No. But in the future, we will. We'll be able to change the hair, the eye color, the size of the rack, the shelf. We can make her taller or shorter, but all of that is going to have to be within limits to fit in a cockpit, and
Hmm.
also it has to be within limits to fit in a spacesuit. So you
Correct.
can't. So you're not going to see you're in the future. You're not going to see Dolly Parton.
No.
No, it's not going to happen.
No.
Um, you're
But
not
it will be nice for our female players
right.
to, instead of having to run around in a man's body, can actually have a female body to
Exactly.
run around in.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I think she's proportioned very well. Is my point. I think she's not no extremes. It's
Right.
not. You know how teenage boys how they want to take their female characters and make them
I know.
maximize the sliders. They'll take the
Yep.
sliders and they'll slide them, like even in Star Trek Online. You get all those sliders and you slide them all the way to the right. You
Yeah.
know, and the okay. Now this is a topic of a whole nother discussion, but I'm gonna say it now. And a man who plays a female character, like a female model, a man, not a teenage boy. I don't care about what they do because they've got angst, right? They're young, dumb, and full of, you know what I mean. But a man who plays a female character in any game, I pray for them.
Yeah.
I have, I have, uh, I've had so many discussions with so many different people about how, oh, I prefer playing female characters, and I just look at them like, why? You know, same thing with the women, right? If the women are out there and they're being forced to play with a man's character, I get it. But if they had the option to play with a man or a woman and they decided to play with a man, Why? Okay.
Yeah, and I've quit playing a few games
Mm-hmm.
that have come out in the last couple of years where they say, well, if you want to be this class of character, it's a female.
What is that like? The desert game, Black Desert?
No, it was a fantasy role playing game.
Yeah, well, Black Desert, right?
I no no no, it was can't remember which one it was.
It's okay.
But
It's okay.
like if you wanted to be a caster, the
Right.
caster class was a female.
Okay.
The tank was a man.
Right.
The ranger was a or the ranger was an elf male. But the
And,
cleric was a female. So if you wanted to be either one of those two classes, you
right.
had to play a female. And
Right.
I was like, you know what? I ain't playing this.
Right. Right. But some responses that I got back from some of these gentlemen that play female characters are, well, it's better to look at their butt than to look at a man's butt.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, first of all, this is a first person game, so you're not going to be looking at anybody's butt. Second of all, if it really like
Yeah.
that, like you're looking at her butt, it's like, I, not me. I'm looking at my crosshair. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I'm trying to
right.
see what I'm shooting at or where I'm flying. But yeah, so I have issues. Not like I dislike the person or not dislike the person. I had a friend. His name's Jason, and bust him out. I'm not going to give him his last name, but his name's Jason. Really nice guy. I like him a lot. We play superhero games, right? And the pen and paper role playing games. And
Right.
we're all sitting around a table, and he would prefer to make a female superhero every time. And I would ask him why, and he goes, he just felt more comfortable playing female characters. And I'm like, but you know nothing about the female psychology, or I mean, stereotypes, right? And you can stereotype them and put them into specific categories. But because you're not one, you're I find it. And now I understand the role playing aspect of it too. Every now and then, once in a while, you want to play that character. That's fine. You want to make a character that you've got some really cool concept, but only a female character would fit into that model. Okay, that's fine, but not when it's all the time. That's what I,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
that's where I'm getting at.
Right.
Once in a while, like, oh, I got this really cool, like, this girl, she had a twin and blah 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 or whatever, and I'm like, that's cool. Or but it's not going to be a girl every time. But I think the females that do play, I don't think there's a lot of them. Okay, I don't know what the analytics tell us, demographics. I don't know what they are, but I bet you it's less than 10%.
Yeah, yeah, I'd agree with that.
And I
I
bet
mean,
you,
you know, and I've been in a lot of games, and you see, well, I'm a female, come over to the chat box and there are no here comes the replies. There are no females that play games on the internet.
oh yeah, they
And,
are. They
and
exist.
I'm sitting there on TeamSpeak talking with a guild mate who's a female going, "What?"
Right, right, right. Oh,
Yeah,
I work at Best Buy, right?
right.
And every day I talk to I talk to these women that come in. They say they need a gaming computer, and I'm like, for your boyfriend, you know, or for your husband, and they're like, no, it's me. I play WoW, or I play, you know, what's another one? Elder Scrolls, or I play this or that, right? And I'm like,
Wars,
really?
Star Trek.
Yeah, Star Trek Online, yeah. I'm like, really? You're a gamer? Okay, and it shocks me, but it does happen, and they come in,
Yeah,
they talk. But for some reason in Star Citizen, because it is a flight sim first person shooter primarily, I don't think it would appeal to many women because it's not like a fantasy role playing,
right.
you know. Um,
But I know there are a few of the hardcores out there
yeah, I know there are. There's a bunch out there.
that get in. I mean, it don't matter what the game is, they're in there.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. And I think they deserve to have their own skin. I don't think they should be stuck in a man's body. It's a
Um,
man's world. Oh, I'm sorry. I can't say. Go ahead. What was that?
there was a point I wanted to bring up when we were talking procedurals.
Oh, okay. We
Um,
can stick
they
on.
were talking about, and this goes back to the ATV when they were going around to the different studios, and they were talking with the Frankfurt, and
Yeah.
they were talking about how they were having a hard time filling space on the planets.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, and one of the
Okay.
things I was thinking of that just boom, just like that, snapped in my head. Hey, rental property. There you go. Organizations can rent out parcels of property for headquarters, outposts. The corporate companies can rent out properties for factories and production facilities and stuff like that. I mean, they want to build an economy. Well, there you go. If you got all this open space on a planet, rent it out.
Well,
Some
and not just that. When you're building out the planet, and you don't have to put everything right on top of everybody.
right,
I could be on the next mountaintop over with my house. I don't have to be. All the houses don't have to be in a neighborhood,
exactly.
right? And if I was in this house and you were in that house, that'd still be fine. You know,
Yeah, an
it.
individual wants to rent a piece of property for his little home.
That's right. Give it
There you
to them.
go. Or
Yeah.
if an org wants to go out and, hey, we're going to put our organizational headquarters on this planet, on this parcel of property.
Right.
Cool.
Yeah. We can only hope that they will eventually do something like that because
Yeah, and
we'll
it'd be nice.
definitely have some kind of Navy base out there somewhere.
And that
Have all
that
of our ships
that's
landed down. Have all of our sabers in a row and stuff, and then when we get bombed, they'll all get destroyed.
and hopefully somebody from RSI is will be listening and
That's right. That's right.
take this to heart and hey, yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, now we're going to talk about AI now.
Yeah,
We've actually gone through majority of the points, so we've only got like 2 or 3 more points left before we finish. But AI is kind of a big one, right? They're talking. The big thing that they just recently started talking about was self-preservation for the AI, because
exactly, and I agree with it.
we have um, we have pirates that spawn when we go to the ICC missions or the repair missions or whatever, and they try to ram you. I mean,
Yep.
they're now. I understand I'm flying towards them too, and they're flying towards me, and it's a combined effort. But I've done this, and if you've been watching my live stream, you've noticed that I put my throttle down to 20%, and they still try to ram me.
Yep.
I can stop and not go anywhere, and they will try to ram me. So I'm thinking that that's a flaw in their flight AI.
And yeah, and I'm wondering too because you notice on Vandal Swarm,
Yep.
um, they actually leave. I
Right.
mean, I've chased numerous of them out of the combat area. It's like I'm on his tail, and all of a sudden he just flies through and he's gone.
That's right. They
But
need
yet, like you said, over in the PU,
the pirates are a little too aggressive.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're ramming you, and
yeah. The Vandul are a little smarter.
yeah, that's got to be what it is.
but 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 not just the self-preservation. I mean, that's good. They said that they're gonna give each AI, which we already knew this from like a year ago, but we knew they were gonna have like a variety of stats hidden behind the scenes in their brain somewhere. You don't get to see it, like why they're there, what they want to accomplish, how they want to accomplish it. You know, are they on a mission? Are they being paid to do this? They're going to know all this information about this. This one AI will have all this data, and that will influence whether or not he stays to fight or if he leaves because the risk is more than the reward, or he's not afraid of being punished for leaving because his mission might not be to kill you. His mission should be maybe to find you and then report back or something. You need to have uh, more thought in those AIs. They
Well,
all say the same thing. Oh,
you've got
you
two
messed up
types of
now.
AI.
Yeah, right
Actually,
now.
you got three types of AI. All right, you've got your NPC interactive AI that provides storyline and content as you go through like Squadron 42 and for questing and stuff like that.
Right.
You've got your POS, your point of sale uh, type AI, like in the bars and in the clothing stores and the
Not
gun
piece
shops.
of. Okay.
Right. Trying to sell you stuff and get
Yeah.
your money.
Right. Right.
Okay.
Right. Right. Right.
And then you've got your bad guys that are trying to kill you. And
No. No.
though
One
the
more.
first
One
two,
more.
which one?
One that's out there helping you.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
But they would fall into the same thing as the one that's trying to kill you. They would be under the same AI, just on opposing sides.
I'll go with that. Okay.
Okay.
So you got
Uh,
combatants.
combatant,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, the first two, their self preservation is going to be a lot higher than that combatant's
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You start
because,
shooting in their shop, they're running.
yeah, exactly. They're diving for cover and whatnot. They're
Right.
not going to pull out their holdout blaster and start shooting at you back. No, they're
The
on the
bartender
phone
might do
trying to.
that.
Well, maybe the bartender, okay, maybe the gun owner, the guy
Yeah.
selling guns, okay, maybe, but the clothing store, I think they're just diving for counter space and looking
Yeah.
for the phone to call the cops.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm with
uh,
that. I agree with that.
but the combatant, they're they're uh, they're going to be, I believe they should be a little bit lower on the threshold for self-preservation, just because they're combatant. you know, yeah, I don't want to die, but at the same time, I'm going to try and do whatever it takes to complete my mission, which is to kill him,
Right.
or if they're on our side, to help protect him
Right.
from them killing him. So you know, I hope they get that right. Break down that AI into those components
I think
instead
they
of just
will. I think they
one
just
out
might.
there.
I think they have a good plan on that. I've seen some of the stuff that that not Imaginarium, that other place, the place doing all the AI. Um, the name escapes me, but they're the ones. The
Is that's yeah, oh duh.
I know, right?
Yeah, they're the ones doing the storyline.
Well, they do the AI. The ones that are
Right,
doing just the AI. But I think they're doing a really good job, and they're building it a little bit at a time. But because like remember, without certain AIs, they were like bumping into each other and walking through each other. Then they turned on this one thing that was like obstacle avoidance, and then they would start walking around each other.
right.
And um, you think of it as like that's like super easy to do. Well, I'm sure it's not. It's probably like super complicated to get their AI to do that. And you just can't turn a switch and have everybody like infinitely smart. So, uh, so with them, soon we're going to be able to talk to people like the bartender, or
Right.
whatever. He's going to be walking around behind the bar cleaning glasses and providing drinks and stuff like that. That's a big step in AI. I mean, even though you don't think so, or maybe you do, but uh, you think it's something just, oh, that's easy, just get him to walk around. No, it's not, because he would be like bumping into the shelves and he'd be bumping into the cabinets and whatever, right? And
The pathing. Yeah.
yeah, so you got to figure out like his little boundaries, and then not just his boundaries, but you don't want, this is what I'm saying, you don't want to give him boundaries.
Right.
You want to give him the ability to make his own boundaries. Like he walks up to a shelf, he stops knowing that there's a shelf there. Not
Right.
not because there was a wall saying don't ever walk past this line. That's not what that's not what I would want. I would want that AI to walk up and say, "This is the shelf that I meant to go to, and I'm gonna get a bottle off the wall." It's not that I just accidentally walked over here and now there's a wall, so I'm gonna turn. Like it's not a Roomba. I don't want
Yeah.
him to. Yeah,
You want to be able to sit down at a table in the bar
yeah,
and have the bartender walk over to you and take your order.
exactly. Right. I want the bartender to realize, hey, they just came in, they just sat down,
or the waitress or
or the
whatever.
waitress or whoever, and or if it's like a really busy and you got two waitresses, I
Hmm.
would like one to approach me and have the other one know that one's approaching me, so the second one doesn't also come up and approach me.
Right.
You know, I want it to be that they are interacting with everything that's going on in the universe, not they're on a script. You know, I don't want them to be on a script where they walk back and forth because they're on a train track. You know, that's not what I want. Okay, so, and I think that's where they're going. I think that's what they're doing. They're going in that direction. Um, okay, so we talked about ejection seats, procedural planets, AI, the Dragonfly, the female model, Grimhex, Levski. This is something that I added to this line because I wanted to say this, and I wanted anyone else that's watching this to hear this. Okay, they had episode 100 of Around the Verse in on Thursday, like they normally would, and they said they're going to break this up into three parts. That's okay. So far, so good. I'm fine with that. The following Thursday, when they have Around the Verse, it should not be episode 100, part two. That
Right.
bothers me. That should be episode 101.
Yes, it should.
If they wanted to break the episode up into three parts, it should have all been the same day, different hours, or three, like Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, or something like that.
3 days in a row. Yeah.
3 days in a row, I would accept that. But when you go on a weekly episode, the next episode is not 100 part 2.
Right.
It's 101.
Yep. I
And
agree.
and the my um, I'm glad they wanted to say, hey, we made it to 100th episode and all that. We're great. You know, it's the world's all coming to an end. You know, and all that stuff. I'm glad, but why 100? I understand it's a decimal number,
Right.
but why wasn't it like, because that's almost 2 years. So why didn't they go to 104? This is our 2 year
Exactly.
anniversary.
Uh huh.
You know?
Yeah, but they didn't start right off in the very beginning with ATV. It took a little time before they started doing ATV.
Well, no, I mean, well, you did Wingman's Hangar.
Right. They
All
had Wingman first.
yeah, up to but he doesn't count towards these episodes one, two,
I
three,
know.
right? So, but I'm just saying they should have had it should be 104, their 2 year anniversary of Around the Verse.
Right.
Yeah, or 100's fine. You want to have an extravaganza? Great. Make it extra large. Make it a live stream. You know, make it not all pre-recorded stuff. I like pre-recorded stuff. Don't get me wrong. I love pre-recorded stuff, but I love the live streams too because it seems like the live streams are more real. It's like they're putting out current information during the live streams.
Right.
In the pre-recorded stuff, it seems like they could have pre-recorded that, and sometimes they have months ago
And done editing on it.
and done editing, and then they just put it out. You know, like
Right.
when it's ready. And speaking of that, speaking about when it's ready, don't. What am I trying to say? In the past, in the last year or so, it's been going downhill in the fact that we used to get information about what was being produced at that minute.
Yes.
And they would show us video, like when they were designing the clothes or when they were designing a wall or when, you know, it's simple, something stupid, a wall, you know, but they would show us and they would show us the hanger changes, the lighting, you know, that hasn't been done in a long time.
Yeah. We back then when they first started doing this, it was like we were kept in the loop more.
Right.
Um, and we actually had a voice as to, yeah, that looks good, or that's stupid, you know.
I'm glad you
and
said that.
but now it's like this is they're starting to get to the point. Well, this is the way we're doing it, and oh well,
Yeah.
and well, the oh well, that's what's leading to what's going on with the post that we talked about in the very beginning
Hmm.
for the subscribers saying, well, they're not listening to us, but yet they're taking my money,
Right.
and that's not what I signed up for. I'm supposed to be helping with this. I'm supposed to have a say, just like any stockholder in a corporation or in a game would want a say as to what's going on and the direction it's going. And yeah, that looks good. No, that's stupid, you know, and that's
And
not
that's,
happening
I'm
anymore.
going to say that's why I originally started backing this game, was
Yes.
because of the way they were very receptive of what their player base was asking for.
Yep.
And it was a two-way street. Like they would, and it's okay if they say no, like, this is what we want. Okay, we understand you want this. It's like that's too impossible, or that would go against the way we want to do things. I'm okay with them saying that. But when they just totally don't even address it, that's when it becomes, I feel like, not that I've been slighted, but it feels like I've been ignored. And I'm going to say this. I'm glad you said about the posts and the forums and stuff like that. I've stopped visiting the RSI forums. I used to go on the forums a couple of times a week and read what people have said.
Yep.
Now, understand that this was years ago, when, or last year, when there weren't as many players and there wasn't as many posts. So if you're looking at like 40,000 players posting on this forum, it was still unmanageable, but I could pick and choose what I wanted to read, and I would read and reply and comment, and I would make my own posts. But now, when you're talking about 100 and, I don't know what it is, 130,000 plus or whatever, that are making these posts, they are just so many posts, and there's so many replies ahead of you, and I, I, I've stopped feeling like if I make a post, I'm gonna get a response back that I want, right?
Right.
I have made posts and I've gotten responses back that I did not want,
Yep.
um, hostile sometimes. And so I just stopped using the forums. And I know it kind of keeps me a little bit out of the loop, per se, but what loop is that? That's a loop I don't want to be in anyway. Because those players, they're just all hostile. It seems like
Yep.
not. Everybody says that the Star Citizen community is the best community and blah blah blah. That's true when it was young. Now you're starting to get, when you, because the percentages, I think, because if you get 100 people in a room, one of them is going to be a killer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, you're a sheriff or whatever. There's a percentage of good forum posters and bad forum posters, and the more and more, like, what do they say, the vocal minority, the ones that are really wanting to talk aren't the ones that you need to be listening to.
Right.
It's I don't know. I get disheartened, so I'm not in the forums anymore.
Yeah. And the main reason why I made my post yesterday, and that was on the one concerning the polo shirt.
Yeah, yeah,
I bought the polo shirt mainly because, well, I wanted it.
yeah, yeah. I thought about
I,
it.
you
I
know,
thought about it.
as a subscriber, hey, yeah, I'm saving $7 from a non-subscriber. Cool.
Right, right, right.
But, I made the post about, well, I'm forking money out to get this stuff, just like I bought some more stuff for my hangar, $5 a pop. That's money that's going in to help keep the game developing.
It is. It is.
And I
People need to
understand
understand that.
that.
Yeah, people need to understand that you're donating
Yeah,
your money, really.
yeah, if I didn't have the money to do it, then I wouldn't have done it.
Right,
And
right.
that's one of the things that I think Chris gets, but unfortunately, I don't think he gets the point across. Um, he doesn't want people going broke
Right,
supporting his dream
right.
and what he envisions to come out of RSI and Cloud Imperium in the form of Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Does he want the support? Yes. but at the same token, he doesn't want somebody to go broke.
Right. And
Just
I'm going to say that that's the buyer has to decide if he wants to spend the
right,
money or not. That you can't as the shop owner, as the seller, he can't control that. He can only say it's really really cool, you need it, buy it. But they're the ones that have to buy it,
yep,
you know. Okay, so I feel like I've talked enough about negative things. Let's move on to some other stuff. Uh,
yes,
Bug Smasher, right? They in the Bug Smasher episode, and later and then they re-aired it in episode 100. They showed off the new Hornet and the new Item 2.0 system, right?
right, yep,
And my understanding now has changed slightly, that the item system is not how the items attach, because I always thought it was how the items attached to things was the item 2.0, but that's not it. The
no,
item 2.0 is how we interact with the items,
right,
like and how they interact with each other. Like turn the power on, then
right,
now you can shoot the lasers, you know, and and in Bug Smashers they showed where like he could go up to a Super Hornet and he can press one button to open the canopy, presses another button to lower the ladder, then another button to open the back canopy. Then he climbs up, he gets in the cockpit, he decides he's going to sit in the front or the back, he sits down, and then he has another button that turns on the engine, and another button that turns on the radar. And I was like, that is cool.
yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I understand it's going to be a lot more. To me, I'm afraid that that's going to increase. I'm always afraid. I'm always afraid. I'm fearful, but it's going to increase the learning curve of this game.
Yes, and I agree with that because right now the keyboard is a mess when it comes to operating this game. It really is. Uh, which alt key do I need to push, left or right one, in conjunction with this key to do this function?
Right.
To me, when you're flying,
Yeah.
you know, if you, they need to think like a pilot. Okay.
Right.
Here's a pilot. He's in his fighter. He's got two hands and 2 feet and two eyeballs. He can only look in so many places at one time. He can only move and manipulate so many things within milliseconds of each other, and he can only move his feet so far to perform an action
Right.
because of restrictions in the cockpit. So, you know, most fighter jets have the stick, which controls speed, pitch, yaw, and rotation. And then they have the HOTAS, as we have it in the game, which controls thrust and then has a few other buttons that they can operate to activate certain systems. And they're all on those sticks. Then you have your heads up display, which is feeding you out your tactical information, and it may have a few switches there to fine tune it that while they're in level flight and not performing
Not
fighter
dogfight.
actions,
Not dogfighting.
yeah,
Yeah.
right, that they can flip through. But once you get into a dogfight, I can't be sitting here going, do I need to push the left or right alt to hit this key to switch over to chat, or what was my chat to flare, button again? There's they've taken what should be a relatively simple keyboard operation and blown it way out of proportion by adding in all these menu one and menu two items on top of a regular keyboard operation. I
Right.
think they need to streamline that, bring it down, and and don't worry about all the other stuff. Um,
I think that they mentioned. I might be getting my games confused, but I hope not because I've been playing a lot of games. But I think I remember them saying something like, "You're going to be able to have the basic setup where you can play and do everything you need to do with just the basic keyboard, basic commands. and then there's going to be like a lot of alternate commands that you can use that are not necessary. They're just extra, and and if you want to learn them, that's up to you to learn them. And I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. That way, the guys that really want a lot of manipulative, or they want to be able to really fine tune their ship and stuff like that, they can dedicate that time to do that. But me, I'm a casual gamer. I'm not, but me, a casual gamer that just jumps in and wants to play, I can just turn the game on and play.
Right.
And I think they desperately need something like that. Um, but when it comes to the item 2.0, making it more complicated, uh, turning the game more into a flight sim and not a game, where okay, I got to turn my engine on. I got to make sure that the temperature's at the right temperature before I engage my thrusters, and then I got to make sure I'm engaging the left front thruster instead of the back right thruster, and then I got to make sure that my radar is set to detect 360 and not just 180, or when you start getting into all that stuff, that's great for an expert, right? but
Right.
that but that learning curve is going to, if it's required, it's going to kill a lot of players because they're going to be like, oh man,
Yeah.
I don't want to do all
And that's exactly the point I'm trying. You
that.
know,
Yeah,
I've grown up with gaming. Um, in the military,
yeah,
uh, there's a military likes to use anagrams, um, and one of them was KISS.
I know it.
Keep it simple, silly, or
Yeah,
stupid.
stupid.
However you want to say it.
Right.
Silly's more politically correct than stupid, but
That's right.
that's what I'm saying with the keyboard. Luckily I've been playing it enough. I know what I need to do to affect what I want to do in the game.
Right.
But like you said, somebody who just comes into the game maybe once or twice a week, and that's usually Friday and Saturday night, and just wants to get in there and blow up some ships or fly around and do some mining or manufacturing or trade runs or whatever, they're not going to want to sit there and, all right, is it the left or right all I need to push in conjunction with this key? Do I need to hold it and push tap the other button, or do I need to hold them both? Because if you read the on the keyboard layout that they have on the
It's hard
website,
to understand.
yeah, you put the magnifier
Modifier
over
one.
modifier one, modifier two,
And I'm
and
like,
one of them
what the hell?
you hold it and tap it, and they got little stars next to it. One star means you hold modifier two and tap the key. Mod 2 stars is
If
means you
modifier one
hold
is
them
alt,
both.
why don't you just say alt?
Well, that's because they're using left and right alt. Modifier one
Well,
is left alt.
well then
Modifier
say
two
left
is
alt
exactly.
instead of modifier one.
And get that keyboard off from there, because unless you sit there and you move that magnifying glass around to find out what you're trying to do and read on what they got on the keys, people would prefer a simple, here you go, column by column. You want to perform this function, you need to press this key combination, like you
Actually,
see
I
in all
like
the
the
other games.
keyboard. I actually
I
prefer
don't.
the keyboard. I
I
like the
don't.
magnifying glass.
Because it looks cool. Don't get me wrong. Oh, it's awesome. All right. But, you know, one of the things I did was I printed it out. See,
Okay,
there it
right,
is.
right,
Okay.
right.
And there's my, all right. But when I'm sitting here playing the game, first of all, the print's so small, I got to reach up
Right.
here. I'm playing the
You
game.
need
I'm
a
getting
magnifying
shot
glass.
at. I got to get my glasses out. Okay. I want to do, all right, cool. And I do it. All right. If I just had a sheet that I could sit up there and go, all right, well, I'm flying now. I'm sitting here, I'm flying around. I'm like, all right, I need to do this. All right, it's that key combination. Boom, boom, boom. I'm done.
Yeah, there. I've noticed that I've only do about 10 different things whenever I'm flying around. I
Same
don't.
here.
I don't. I don't. Well, I don't. decouple and slide and turn and recouple and yes, I do strafe in a dogfight, but that's A and D. I just A and D
Yeah,
it. You know,
yeah.
it's not like rocket
Well,
science. I,
I use,
I hate the G key being my flares and my
uh,
chaff
yeah,
because
I
I
do
have
the
to
Q and
reach.
E
That should be
also.
my gear. That should be gear.
Yeah,
That should not. F is used, and I understand that because it is F in every other game in the universe.
right,
But uh, and I know I can remap it when eventually the game comes out because if I remap it now, it'll just get lost in translation. But
right.
uh, I don't like G way over there being my, and then not when I press it, it doesn't launch. I have to press and hold for it to
Yes.
launch. Now, how long does it take? I don't know because my computer won't tell me until the pirate's done talking.
Yep.
Like I'm dogfighting a guy and he says, "Oh, you've messed up now," but I've already held the G button for an hour, and then finally my ship goes flare launched, and I'm like, "Yeah, I did that an hour ago," you know. And so I need either a visual cue on my screen that says, like I've launched your flare, or it needs to be a totally different key that I don't have to hold, that I can just tap on. Okay, G being a tap for the flare or the chaff, I'm okay. But there, in that case, there needs to be another key that I press to switch, because that is like my biggest complaint: the G key holding to launch flares. That
Yeah.
bothers me. I get an
Because
incoming
if you
missile.
just
I don't
tap
want to
it,
hold.
now
Right,
you just rotated the flares
right,
from
right,
chaff.
right. Exactly, exactly. Okay, enough of the item 2.0, which is really super cool. I'm saying it is 100%. I'm super excited to get it, mainly because it's going to lead into I can open a door or I can close a door. I can lock a door or I can, well, I can, turn a light on or turn a light off or whatever, right? So I'm
And
totally,
like Heeman said there is, the most important thing is about locking in area permissions
yeah.
so that the random player doesn't come into your cargo hatch and sneak up behind you and
Yeah, but
shoot the
then how
pilot
am
in
I
the head.
going to steal that constellation?
I know.
Okay, so here we go. I'll have to pick the lock. Okay, so now one of the number 10, our last point actually, is faster ingress and egress of ships. There
And it
was,
is working. I love it.
yeah, there were some videos shown on episode 100, I think, of them showing some people sliding down ladders or jumping off the ladder, or they were showing guys about climbing slowly or climbing fast, to get
Hmm.
into the ship. And when they get to the top, they don't get onto the top and stand up straight back and then step in. What they do is they kind of like rush into the ship. And same thing with getting out of the ship. Like you said, you were out of the saber. You just like get on the thing and then jump to the ground. You don't worry about the ladder and all that.
Yeah.
And that's super important. I'm going to say that's important because there was a couple of nights ago that I went to Korea to do a guard mission, right? And so I fly in and I land. Well, there was a guy on my landing pad, right? And I didn't know this until I started getting out of my ship. When I got out of the ship, he started shooting at me. If I had to stop and climb down the ladder, I would have been dead. But I just jumped to the ground, whipped my gun out, and everything was good. And then I still died anyway. But but it was but it was the point was I had a fighting chance. I didn't have a fighting chance if I had to climb down the ladder. And I think that's why they're doing it. They're just trying to make it a lot faster for I think there were some complaints about the 300i because it takes so much time to get in and out of that ship
Yep.
where you got to climb all the way up and you step in, you hunker over and stuff. And so just doing anything in the 300 was like pulling teeth. You had to take so much time to get in and out of your ship. That was your gaming night. You didn't get
Yep.
a chance to go on an adventure. Okay, so what do you think about that? You think it's good? You think it's bad? You think you
I like it.
support that? Yeah, me too. I do. I support it a lot.
Yeah.
All
I think
right,
it's great.
so we're gonna be back in like 2 weeks. I don't know what date that is, but everybody can figure that out. And we're gonna talk more about what goes on in the next 2 weeks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna watch The
The
10th or the
18th.
18th. Okay.
Yep.
So and you can probably hear fireworks going off behind me because it's
Yeah,
America.
I got
It's
them going
America
off here.
Day. Yeah, and it was raining earlier
America.
this. Yes, America. Yeah. So I thought about changing out the hanger back here into an American flag, but I didn't. And we might be able to get some more people, and we're definitely recruiting at the First Naval Aerospace Squadron. If you're interested in a organization that's all about fighting pirates and killing Drake pilots, no, I'm just playing. But yeah, fighting pirates and smuggling and doing the right thing and protecting cargo transports and stuff like that, as well as having our own cargo transports and exploration. Contact us. Go to onenas.engine.com, and their link should be in the description below. If you are not a member of Star Citizen or you haven't joined Star Citizen yet, I do have a referral code down there you can use. Also, check us out. We play some War Thunder too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've started playing Rise of Flight again, and I really am digging Rise of Flight. World War One dogfighting. Yeah, it's a free game if you're interested. It's
Yeah.
on Steam. It's free. Rise of Flight, super. You only get like 3 planes, but if you want to get more planes, then that's dollars. Um, Steam sale going on right now. That's super exciting. So you can like get different games for cheap, super cheap. Old games too. Um, so what do you got going on in the next couple weeks? Anything special?
Uh, work,
Yeah,
work, and I got some home improvement projects I've got to work on.
yeah, yeah. Same here. Yeah,
But other than that, I mean, now in September, I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks.
yeah.
But I'm hoping that our shows will be in that space to where it will be off.
If
And
not, we might take a week off or something.
well, no, I can. No, I'll still be able to do the filling the void. It's just I'll have to be doing it on my laptop
Okay. Well,
from a hotel room.
by the time it hits September, hopefully we'll have maybe Star Marine
Yeah.
because they're talking about bringing that
Mm-hmm.
back. Yeah, so
Yep.
that would be super exciting. We didn't even talk about that tonight,
No.
but all right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out and checking out this video. We'll catch you later, and we'll see you in the verse.
Later.